Very good morning to you. It is Tuesday, April 28th, 2026. Welcome to, did I say the 28th? Is it really? Let me look. Yeah, it is. I had to double check. Welcome to Mornings with Ken Rosato. We're live both on the East Coast in New Jersey and New York in the metro area. And we're live in Southern California throughout Los Angeles and what's that other city? Oh, San Diego. Phone lines are open, 888-658-0234. I'm just trying to panic our director, Pam. We now have meteorologist Mike Favetta's forecast for your neighborhood. All right, welcome back. And if you couldn't interpret all of that, what it is basically is that for the Los Angeles area, we're talking about mostly sunny skies, actually a flawless picture perfect day in Southern California, 74 degrees. In the New Jersey, New York metro, mostly cloudy, but it doesn't look like there's going to be any rain today. Highs about 66. Take it either way, pretty nice. We look at the traffic. We have a lot of it. First off, on the New Jersey Turnpike Outer Roadway southbound, entering at the Molly Pitcher service area, Cranberry. The right lane is currently blocked there because of a crash. There's debris on the Garden State Parkway at exit 129. That's causing about 2 miles of delays in Woodbridge Township with the right lane blocked. Crash on 195 eastbound at exit 3, Hamilton Square, Yardville Road, Hamilton Township. All lanes are closed, and look at what this is causing. Absolute mess. 1 and 9, there's an unanticipated construction delay, and that's the truck route northbound from Hackensack Avenue, Kearney to Route 440, Jersey City. The left shoulder, 2 left lanes closed. New Jersey Turnpike, Hudson County Extension, we have a disabled truck that is outside the entry of interchange 14, which is by I-78 Newark with the right lane blocked. I-80, we have a disabled tractor trailer westbound west of exit 58, Madison Avenue, Patterson. That's always a busy area. Now we have this added disabled tractor trailer. Right lane is closed. Route 4, water main break westbound by Yerger Road in Fairlawn. Right lane closed there. We have a fluid spill. Don't know what kind of fluid. That's on Route 46, westbound in the vicinity of West Main Street, Rockaway Township. All lanes closed. What a mess. And on the Hudson River crossings, Lincoln and Holland, now 35 minutes already. That's usually something at 8:30. 35 minutes in, GWB upper and lower levels also very heavy. Check this out. Upper level is on the right, lower levels on the left, and that already is going to cost you 40 minutes in. Quick check of LA. We have a few roads to tell you about. All collisions. And again, it's only 4:05 in the morning in LA. We have a collision in Central by the 101 and North Alameda Street off ramp. We have a crash on the 10 at Delmar Avenue, East LA. And then at Santa Fe Springs, there's a collision on 7th Avenue, right by 1367th. Another collision, no injuries though. This is in West Valley at the 170 and Magnolia. It is 5 minutes past the hour, and it was a first court appearance for the suspected White House Correspondents' Dinner shooter Cole Allen. He was charged yesterday with trying to assassinate President Trump Saturday night as he made a defiant first appearance in court. 31-year-old spoke loudly and confidently, answering a judge's questions in federal court in Washington as he was hit with the charges of attempted assassination of the president, transportation of a firearm across state lines to commit a felony, and discharging a gun. Faces life in prison if convicted of the top charge. Allen walked into that courtroom unshackled with a somber look and wearing a blue jail jumpsuit. He answered the judge when asked his name. People there said it was a little actually off-putting because he loudly shouted out as if in the military that his name was Cole Thomas Allen. The Caltech grad is also stated his age. He told the judge that he has a master's degree. Allen is accused of trying to kill the president also while taking out cabinet members as they mingled with journalists. He allegedly opened fire as he attempted to burst into the ballroom where President Trump and First Lady Melania were seated. He allegedly sent an unhinged anti-President Trump manifesto to his family 10 minutes before he unleashed his fury. The letter so alarming that it prompted his siblings to call police. Specifically, his brother called police where he lives in Connecticut. 7 minutes past the hour. A Massachusetts woman who unleashed a swarm of bees as a weapon against deputies has been convicted. Rory Susan Woods was found guilty on 4 counts of assault and battery. Hampton County Sheriff's deputies were serving an eviction notice as Woods pulled up to this particular property. She was hauling a trailer stacked with beehives. Now, video shows that Woods got into a physical confrontation with a deputy before smashing open the lid of one of the hives. The bees swarmed out and started stinging everyone in sight, including the deputies. When told that some deputies had bee allergies, Woods allegedly replied, "Oh, you're allergic? Good." The video shows Woods then put on a beekeeper suit before carrying a tower of hives to the home's front entrance to further agitate the bees. Officers then tackled her to the ground and took her into custody. It turns out Woods doesn't even know the tenant who is being evicted. Police say she just travels around interfering with officers who are serving eviction notices. Several officers had to be treated at the hospital and were released. Woods was sentenced to 6 months in jail. So basically, she just is neurotic. Severe weather in northern Texas has left 2 people dead and a lot of destruction. Severe thunderstorms on Saturday night spawned tornadoes that destroyed dozens of homes. Roadways are strewn with debris, making local travel all but impossible. National Weather Service teams confirmed an EF2 tornado with peak winds of 135 miles an hour touched down in the Runaway Bay area. An EF1 tornado, peak winds of 105 miles an hour, was confirmed in Springtown, Texas. At least 20 families have been left homeless. A U.S. Army Special Forces soldier is accused of using classified information to bet on the poly market. Master Sergeant Gannon Ken Van Dyke allegedly bet $33,000 and made over $400,000 on whether Venezuela's dictator Nicolas Maduro would be removed. The bets were placed shortly before the event was publicly announced. He faces charges of wire and commodities fraud. The soldier was released on a $250,000 bond. Investigators say he tried to hide evidence of the trades. It should be noted that members of Congress are actually legally allowed to do exactly the same thing, insider trading, and they cannot be charged with a crime for it. 9 minutes past the hour, and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has proposed a new congressional map that could give Republicans a few more seats in the House. A special legislative session has been called to address the proposal. The administration argues the changes are necessary to eliminate race-based districts and reflect Florida's 1.5 million Republican voter advantage. Democrats call it partisan gerrymandering. No matter what the outcome, the map is expected to receive an immediate challenge in court. Coming up on 10 minutes past, and California's proposed tax on billionaires has enough signatures now to be placed on a popular referendum ballot. The measure would impose a one-time 5% tax on wealth over $1 billion. Liberals in the state say the confiscatory tax could raise $100 billion over 5 years. Here's a problem, though. California is believed to be home to more fraud and waste than any other state in the nation and doesn't seem to want to address that problem before just imposing more and more taxes on the very segment of the population that's already paying the vast majority of all taxes. Many of California's wealthiest residents have already threatened to move out or actually moved out of the state before any such tax can even take effect. Another issue, this tax would be imposed on people based on the projected value of owned items if they were sold at that point. So, in other words, if somebody owned a house they bought for $1 million and it is projected that in 20 years it'll be worth $1 billion, California wants to tax you on the billion, not on what you actually bought the house for. But there's really no way to know if anybody would actually spend that amount on said item. So the tax would be based on a guess. Guarantee it'll go to court. A passenger gave birth aboard a Delta flight from Atlanta to Portland Friday. Ashley Blair delivered little Brielle Renee about 30 minutes before Flight 478 could land. A doctor and two nurses fortunately were on board that flight. They assisted in the delivery using a shoelace to tie off Brielle's umbilical cord, as I have an eyelash there. The plane made a priority landing and was met by emergency responders on the tarmac. Mommy and baby reported in stable condition. And AI-generated influencers are now a problem. They're rapidly growing across social media platforms. The virtual personalities are created using advanced artificial intelligence tools. Brands are using them for marketing and advertising and are a lot cheaper than using real people. You don't have to pay them royalties, etc. But it raises concerns about authenticity. You don't know who's telling you what, who's lying, who gets held responsible for lying to you. Experts are saying they are reshaping the future of digital content creation. Coming up on 13 minutes past the hour, and when we come back, welcoming a new baby can be one of the most exciting and often overwhelming moments for any family. In New Jersey, there is a growing effort to make sure no family has to navigate those early days alone, especially if you're young or single and don't have the money. Meteorologist Mike Favetta's weather near you will explain. He's not here physically. He's off on paternity leave himself, but he left us a forecast, and we'll show you when we return. You are watching Mornings with Ken Rosato, covering the East Coast and the West Coast. Stream daily on Roku, Fire TV, News on Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, Facebook, and X. Now stream live on Local Now, Substack, Rumble, Twitch, on LACA, and on FLA.com. We're back in 2 minutes. A very good morning to you. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. It is Tuesday, 15 minutes past the hour. Now meteorologist Mike Favetta's forecast in a town near you. All right, welcome back. To interpret that, if you missed it, it is going to be mostly cloudy, 66 in New Jersey on the West Coast, Los Angeles, mostly sunny, 74. Right now, we have 41 degrees in Trenton, 53 degrees in Los Angeles, and we have a slew of traffic incidents. Let's start, if we can, on Route 21. There is a disabled vehicle 21 northbound by East 3rd in Newark, one central lane of 2 lanes closed. So apparently, yeah, how would you like to be behind that truck and getting all the diesel fumes spewed at you? So it's just causing a little slowdown going off into downtown there. Yep, there it is. Thank you, Pam. Pam found it. Of course, Pam's eagle eyes find that. We have a tractor trailer fire, and this is on Corbin Street, southbound from Kellogg Street to Marsh Street in Newark with a right lane block. That's just a couple of blocks actually from that point. We have a problem now on wow, Route 20. We did 21. We have a problem on the Turnpike. That's outer roadway southbound entering at the Molly Pitcher service area, Cranberry. Right lane is blocked there. On 195, there's a crash eastbound at exit 3, Hamilton Square, Yardville Road, Hamilton Township. All lanes closed on that. On 1 and 9, we have unanticipated construction delays now. And this is at the truck route northbound from Hackensack Avenue, Kearney to 440 Jersey City. Left shoulder, 2 left lanes, all closed. Jersey Turnpike, Hudson County Extension, we have a disabled truck, and that is eastbound outside the entry for interchange 14 I-78 Newark with the right lane blocked. Route 4, there's a water main break by Yerger Road, Fair Lawn with the right lane of 2 lanes closed westbound. Fluid spill on 46, and that is westbound in the vicinity of West Main Street, Rockaway Township. All lanes closed there. The Hudson River crossings, Lincoln and Holland, both reporting heavy traffic in 35 minutes across, and the GWB upper and lower levels already about 40 to 45 upper level on the right. At least there's a little movement there. Lower level is stopped on the left. That's 45 minutes solid getting in. And to the West Coast, we have a few incidents to tell you about. There's a traffic collision in South LA at the 405 and Carson Scales, a crash that just happened in Central LA at the 101 and North Alameda Street off ramp. And we have a crash that occurred about half an hour ago. That's in East LA on the 10 at Del Mar Avenue. It is now, again, 41 degrees in Trenton. It's 43 degrees in northern New Jersey and 58 degrees in Southern California. There is a growing effort to make sure that no family has to navigate bringing home a new baby alone. Family Connects New Jersey is offering free in-home visits from registered nurses to support families with newborns. The program's already reaching families across most of the state. Brandy Benson, is the program director of Family Connects New Jersey. We say good morning to you, Brandy. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, nice to have you on, and thank God for what you folks are doing, because I mean, we all know somebody who's had a child, and we see the incredible amount of effort. Our own meteorologist, who is not here, we were just showing the automated weather. He and his wife had just had a second baby, and I hear about. I don't have kids, but I know that it's round the clock crying, and this is what happens when they're babies. There's so much demand. So if you already have a network of help, it's still hard. When you're alone and you're young and you don't have the money, how on earth do these young people do it? And thank God for an organization like yours, Family Connection New Jersey, to help get them through this early point.
Absolutely. Family Connects is really a game changer. It's providing support for all families. The program supports new and expectant families, those who've adopted, those who even experienced a stillbirth, or those who are serving as a resource or kinship family. So it's really for all families. It's about providing that support, bringing that support to you, and letting you know that you're alone, whether you need support, whether you need just reassurance that what you're doing is right, right? Whether you just need a pat on the back or someone to talk to, it's bringing that care to you in the comfort of your home and just being there at a time that is so vulnerable, especially in that postpartum period where so many complications and things can go wrong for both mom and baby.
I mean, there is really never a time when a mom who's just given birth gets a chance to really just let their guard down and sleep. And we're talking months, right? We're talking round the clock crying and feeding and changing diapers. And the mother is just run ragged, but yet does so out of love, obviously. But it's just unbelievable to see the commitment and the love of a newborn mom, if you will. And the fact that the last thing they often tend to think about is having to call a doctor to check on themselves or the baby. So just the idea that you have this is amazing. Who is eligible to get these in-home nurse visits, and when can families schedule them?
Sure. So, any family who's a new expectant family, any family who has adopted, who is a kinship family or who has had a unfortunate experience of a stillbirth, is eligible for the program. We're currently live in 17 out of 21 New Jersey counties, and we will have services fully statewide in January 2027. So really anybody is eligible. You can go on to our www.famillyconnectsnj.com website, pick your county that you live in, your county of residence, and self-schedule a visit. We do have select bedside recruitment going on at different hospitals where we actually have our staff go in and talk to patients as soon as they're delivered, usually on day one, or before they go to the hospital. They talk to them about the program. They can sign them up there. So there's a variety of ways that you can be signed up for Family Connects NJ, and it's really open to anyone that's welcoming a new baby.
Absolutely. Brandy, that's fantastic. And just explain why it is so essential to check on both the baby and the parent during those early weeks, especially.
Sure. So, really, what Family Connects is doing is really serving as a bridge from the time a family is discharged from the hospital to the time they follow up with their primary care provider or their obstetric provider or their pediatric provider. And we know when we look at CDC data that the majority of maternal deaths and complications do arise in that postpartum period. So, really, this is another stop on the continuum, that postpartum continuum, and just making sure that things don't fall through the cracks from the time someone's discharged to the time they follow up with their doctor. And so we want to emphasize that Family Connects is not replacing the visit of your primary care provider, your obstetric provider, your pediatric provider, but it's really just another stop or another checkpoint on that postpartum continuum, making sure that things don't fall through the cracks. If something is picked up during the visit, the nurses are very comfortable calling the primary care provider, calling the obstetric provider, calling the pediatric provider, and if needs so, referring that family for emergent care, whether that's through the ER or whatever other mechanism.
I love that because a visiting nurse can actually sit down and spend time with the new mom. Whereas you go to an OBGYN or a pediatrician visit, you're sort of pressed in that 5 minute period to try to remember everything you have to ask the doctor. And they're rushed in and out. I'm not blaming the doctors, they're busy themselves. But here a nurse can, and not that a nurse can spend all day, but at least they could spend a little time, have a conversation, maybe a cup of coffee while taking care of the mom and just and even find out about their emotional situation even more so than their physical, and also check on the baby because maybe in those circumstances when the mother's a little more relaxed, they could ask certain questions they may not even think to ask the doctor.
This is so true. Most of our visits last about 90 minutes, and it can start off as a conversation, right? We're not going in and saying, okay, we have to do this right away. They're really going off the vibe of the family and kind of figuring out what does the family need. So it starts off as a conversation. How are things going? What things are you struggling with? What things do you really want to focus on? Do you want to focus on breastfeeding, right? And it's a conversation. How are you doing, right? And they involve the family as well, right? It's not just a visit for mom, but there's a whole family unit. So if a grandmother wants to participate, the father's there, an aunt's there, a good friend is there. We encourage everyone to get involved because there really is that community, hopefully, around this family as they're navigating this new rite of passage, right? This new space.
And there's so much that a new mom has to learn, especially. But this is not just for new moms for the first time, right? This is for people, women who've had babies before, or as you said, going through the emotional scars of having a stillbirth, or adopting. I mean, this is beautiful that you offer this program for anyone who needs it, because when there's that first interaction and the first few months of learning to be a new family and all the responsibilities, that's when you really need help like this the most. What kind of reaction have you gotten for the program so far in all the counties it's been available?
Sure, we've gotten some really great reactions. We've gotten testimonials from fathers, from moms who this isn't their first baby, saying, "Wow, I learned so much," or "It was just so nice to have someone come to the house and just talk to me, right, and just to check on me." So the program has overwhelmingly gotten really positive responses. We track our patient satisfaction, which is consistently in the 98th percentile. So we're really proud of our nurses. We're really proud of our teams. We're really proud that people trust us and are allowing us in this time to come into their home, into their vulnerable space, and be a support for them, right? Because that says a lot about the trust and the name of the program. So we're really proud about what's happening. And we have a great team. They're so passionate about this work. They care about maternal mental health. They care about families. They care about the health of families. And so it really is just a beautiful thing to be a part of.
How is it funded? Is it, Brandy, is it funded from donations or is it a state funded program? How does the funding come in?
Sure. Family Connects NJ is funded through state appropriations. So right now it's state funded.
All right. So what we need to do is write our representatives and say, if there's any program that we need more of, it's this. And you guys want to expand statewide to help everybody, right?
Absolutely. Our plan is to expand to the remaining 4 counties in January 2027. And really, honestly, this should be a standard of care. If you go to most European countries and overseas, a postpartum home visit is a standard of care. So we just want to make sure that we're doing that here. Our families deserve it.
Brandy Benson, Program Director of Family Connects New Jersey. What a worthy, worthwhile, wonderful organization. Thank you for doing what you do. I'm sure the moms love you for it and all the new families. And thanks for coming on this morning.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Hey, you got to take care of the kids and the moms. That's our future. You don't want unhealthy kids and unhealthy moms. It's going to cost you down the line. So take care of these folks. When we come back, access to early diagnosis and comprehensive care for children with autism. We're back in 2 minutes. A very good morning. It is 30 minutes past the hour, Tuesday, April 28th. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. Our phone lines are wide open right now at 888-658-0234. Now, meteorologist Mike Favetta's full forecast for your area. All right, so what that translation is of the automated weather, as our meteorologist Mike Favetta is off on paternity leave. Congratulations to Mike and his wife Steph on their little baby Enzo, who was just born, little cute Enzo, last week. But we're going to have mostly cloudy skies in the state of New Jersey and the New York metro area, 66 to 68 degrees, depending on where you are. In California, Southern California, 74 and sunny. In LA, 75 sunny. San Diego. In terms of traffic, oh, we should let you know it's 41 degrees right now, Trenton, 44 degrees, northern New Jersey, California, LA, and San Diego right now, 52 degrees. And we do have a lot of traffic to tell you about. Let's start on the Garden State Parkway, a debris spill. It is impacting local lanes northbound, north of exit 114 in Homedale with the center lane blocked. You know what, Pam was just telling us, our director, you said that you could see the PNC Arts Center. The debris spill is just outside that. Pam is saying, why don't I see traffic? It's because the camera is showing the parking lot. It's not showing the accident or the debris spill in this case. We have a tractor trailer fire on Corbin Street, both directions from Kellogg Street to Marsh Street in Newark. Right lane is blocked southbound and the left lane is blocked northbound. There's a fluid spill on 46 westbound near West Main Street in Rockaway Township. All lanes are closed. Route 21 right now has a disabled vehicle northbound East 3rd Ave in Newark with the center lane closed there. New Jersey Turnpike has a crash, outer roadway southbound entering at Molly Pitcher service area, Cranberry, with the right lane blocked. We have unanticipated construction delays on the 1 and 9 truck route. This is northbound from Hackensack Ave and Kearney to 440 in Jersey City. The left shoulder, 2 left lanes all closed, and a disabled truck on the New Jersey Turnpike, Hudson County Extension, and that is eastbound outside the outside the entry of interchange 14. Sorry about the sun glare, but you could see what it's causing. What an absolute mess. The right lane is blocked, and that's by I-78 in Newark. Your Hudson River crossings, Lincoln and Holland, both still reporting 30 to 35 minutes across on the GWB upper and lower levels. Really heavy. The lower level, it'll give you oh boy, now the lower level stopped. Look at that. They're saying 40 to 45 for the lower, and it's 35 to 40 on the right there for the upper level. In Southern California, we have a few collisions already at this early time, which is unusual to have this many accidents at this hour. But right now we have a report of a fire in West Valley at the 170 and Sherman Way off ramp. There is a traffic collision, no injuries though, in Santa Fe Springs on the 605 at Washington Boulevard on ramp. And there's a crash that just happened on the 405 at Carson Scales in South LA. 35 minutes past the hour, and we appreciate your patience as we went through traffic. As autism rates continue to rise across the Garden State, access to early diagnosis and comprehensive care has never been more critical. Inspira Health is working to close that gap with expanded services. Joe O'Brien is the manager of outpatient behavioral health services, and Kristen Della Vecchia is a therapist at the Autism Diagnostic Center at Inspira Health Center in Bridgeton. Please correct me if it's Inspira and not Inspira. Tell me, please, either of you.
It's Inspira.
Thank you. And of course, at 11 o'clock last night, as I'm writing up my scripts, I'm thinking, I have nobody I can call. I even went on to the YouTube like the kids do, and I couldn't find something that had the pronunciation. So I'm glad we got it straightened out. So let's start that again. That is Inspira Health Center in Bridgeton. Joe and Kristen, welcome. Good to have you both on.
Thanks for having us.
Let's start with Joe. What is the expansion of services at Inspira? What does that mean for families in South Jersey who may have struggled to get access to autism care in the past? Because that's not an easy thing to get.
No, not at all. In New Jersey in general, it was very difficult. And we realized in southern New Jersey, in the lower counties, it was incredibly difficult. We're the first diagnostic center to open in southern New Jersey in 2024. That was our first one in Woodbury. And then in late 2025, we opened the one that I oversee in Bridgeton. And it has been a game changer for southern New Jersey. We've evaluated over 350 children and adults since opening in 2024. We hope to do at least 200 evals this year. Most of our families, due to the poor infrastructure in the lower counties, could not access services farther north, or many of them were going to Philadelphia or Delaware to get services, but now they can get something comprehensive and closer to home.
It's amazing because when you get into the more densely populated counties, very close to Philadelphia, very close to New York, you have all the healthcare and easy transportation. That's another thing. You have easy transportation to get to healthcare. Once you get into the more rural counties and way down south, you look at some of the counties that are like the size of California counties. People who live up in Essex County don't get it, that these people have to drive 80 miles to get to help in some cases. Kristen, walk us through a typical evaluation of what it looks like at Autism Diagnostic Center. How do you ensure that each diagnosis is accurate? That's a toughie.
Sure. So what we do is we perform a thorough age appropriate evaluation for each person who comes to our center. So we do a in-depth review of developmental, social, emotional, and behavioral history. If it's an adult patient, we will ask about their childhood development. For our younger patients, we will ask the parents a standard of series of questions. And then we will also observe the person being tested. This can include everything from watching a young child interact with toys to typical interview questions. Everything that is being done in the testing room is all prompted, to try to elicit, some kind of behavior or reaction, which helps us determine, if they are uh, within those symptoms. So when appropriate, we also will conduct cognitive testing. If we feel like we don't have a good baseline for the patient, or if we don't have any information from the schools, we just want to make sure that we rule out any kind of intellectual disability, as we are teasing through some of the symptoms of autism. And then when all the information we have gathered is ready to review, that's how we make our accurate and thorough diagnosis, putting all of that
Now,
together.
and I know that the earlier you diagnose a person with autism, if they're just a few months or few years old, the earlier you get that diagnosis, the sooner you could start a plan, right? And it's about, for those who don't understand autism, just from my interviews with people over my 45 years here doing this silliness we call broadcasting, that it's about the brain being slightly wired, or wired slightly differently, right? So if you could tune into how the brain is wired differently, you can then help teach the person to function, as we'd say, highly functional in society like anyone else. And that really is the case, right? There's nothing, it's just a matter of wiring. Joe, we know that New Jersey has one of the highest autism rates in the country. So why has there historically been such a gap in diagnosis and access to services then? Has it just been about the rural counties and the distance traveled?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, the lower counties are underserved for in a number of ways, definitely with behavioral health and obviously with diagnosis of autism. But of course, as you pointed out, Ken, the public transportation is really poor. And so people literally could not access services even if they did exist. So now by putting them basically across the southern counties, that access allows people to actually get to us. And I do think that the conversation has obviously changed. We've started the conversation on autism, and we've, started to identify folks that are neurodivergent. But now our goal is to continue to find shades of gray, because obviously not all neurodivergent folks are the same. So we need to continue to diagnose and raise awareness and, have a conversation, because I feel like we're just starting it.
Yeah. And Christian, I should ask you, what if I'm a parent, I have a child and I suspect there's something going on, there's something different about my child. What are some of the early signs of autism the parents or caregivers need to be looking out for?
Sure. So some early signs that we will see is differences in social communication. That would be eye contact, conversation, shared attention, how they're asking for things or showing things, repetitive behaviors, strong interest, any kind of sensory sensitivities, noise, textures, lights. Signs often appear before age 3. A lot of the times when we're looking at criteria in patients, it can be seen within the first 12 months. Just, if you're looking at those key sensory sensitivities, typically it is present, at birth and develops. So that is something that we look at early on, and definitely can be something that parents can kind of be on the lookout for, and talking to their pediatrician and seeing what is typical development and what may be something to just keep an eye on.
Good deal. And Joe, what is a website for more information?
www.inspira.org.
All right, www.inspira.org. Joe O'Brien, Manager of Outpatient Behavioral Health Services, and Kristen Della Vecchia, Therapist at the Autism Diagnostic Center at Inspira Health Center, Bridgeton. Thank you both for coming on this morning. We appreciate you for what you do and helping our kids in New Jersey. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
You bet. 43. Thank you. 43 minutes past the hour. When we come back, as spring settles in, so it does allergy season. We're going to talk all about that. You're watching Mornings with Ken Rosato, stream daily on 20 different platforms. We're coming back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato for your Tuesday, 45 minutes past the hour. Now, meteorologist Mike Favetta's full forecast. All right, we check our traffic in the areas. We tell you that it's 41 degrees in Trenton, 44 degrees northern New Jersey, Southern California, 52 degrees. And we have on Route 21, we have a disabled vehicle now northbound, East 3rd Ave in Newark, center lane of 3 lanes closed. And you could see actually when they move, you'll see the vehicle. And right there's a truck blocking what we have to show you. Right there is the disabled vehicle. It's just causing a little bit of a backup, but that's right as you enter one of the side streets from downtown Newark. So just give you a heads up on that. We have a tractor trailer fire on Corbin Street, both directions from Kellogg Street to Marsh Street in Newark, with the right lane blocked southbound, left lane northbound, and a fluid spill on 46 westbound near West Main Street in Rockaway Township. All lanes are closed there. We have a crash on the New Jersey Turnpike outer roadway southbound, entering at the Molly Pitcher service area, Cranberry, with the right lane blocked in that area. And right now, do we have 139, Pam? If you get a chance, we'll take a look at Route 139 going from the New Jersey Turnpike to the Holland Tunnel. Extraordinarily heavy. Look at that. That's a live shot. It looks like a still shot. That is a live shot. Stopped traffic. What a mess. And that is making your way to the Holland, which is going to cost you 35 to 40 minutes into Manhattan. Lincoln Tunnel, not that much better. It's 30 to 35. And the GWB upper and lower levels, the 80-95 approach, check out the upper level on the right, lower level on the left, and that is a solid 45 minutes in. To the West Coast we go right now, and we have a couple of problems right now at this early hour. Mind you, it's only 4:48 on the West Coast, and in Southern California, we have a collision in South LA at the 105 and Wilmington Avenue. We have a report of a fire in West Valley at the 170 and Sherman Way off-ramp. And there are a couple of other collisions to tell you about. One is at Santa Fe Springs on the 605 at Washington Boulevard on-ramp. And we have a collision that just happened on the 405 at Carson Scales. It is 49 minutes past the hour, and it is definitely spring time because allergy season is here. For many people, it could mean more than just sneezing and itchy eyes. There are respiratory issues. Asthma can be triggered, like in my family. It can be certainly worsened this time of year too, making it essential to stay proactive about your health. Dr. Greg Carnival is the Chief Medical Officer at United Healthcare. We say good morning to you. And I want to confirm off the top, are we Carnivale? Are we Carnivali? Are we Carnival? We actually ask our staff this beforehand, but we get no response. It's like talking to crickets. So how do we pronounce our name, Doctor?
Well, I've been certainly called many names, but Carnevale is the proper pronunciation.
You got it. E posso parlare italiano. I can do the whole thing in Italian if you want, but Carnevale would be appropriate. We'll do that. Okay. Dr. Carnevale, good to have you on. And what are the most common respiratory issues you're seeing right now?
Yeah, I mean, certainly you teed it up nicely. I mean, allergies at this time of year is what is well known. Obviously, everything's starting to bloom in New Jersey, right? You have the maple, juniper, cedar trees blooming now. You have mid-spring the birch, ash, and pine. Later spring, finally come the hickory, oak, walnut trees that are in your areas. And what happens is sometimes these triggers, 60% of the time, are associated with asthma. And what happens with asthma is it's an inflammatory conditions that make a lot of your breathing worse with the symptoms that you associate with that, shortness of breath, coughing, wheezing, chest tightness.
So my brother, when I was a kid, and I'm like 130 years old, I can remember my older brother used to be allergic to carrots. And I remember that as time went on, our pediatrician said, you may not actually be allergic to carrots. You may be allergic to birch trees. And we said, what the hell are you talking about? What is that when there is it that birch pollen has a protein that's similar to what's in carrots? And when the birch pollen blooms, what do they refer to that as? There's a term for that.
Yeah. You got it. Interesting in nature, right? Nature repeats itself, and oftentimes there's related families of plants and those trees and plants that you would potentially consume. So, the carrot, the birch with the apple tree is also another well-known one. Cantaloupe with ragweed is another example, whereby some of the same proteins, just like you said, on the different type of entity, and sometimes they're additive. When you eat cantaloupe in the fall and you have exposure to ragweed, you have a double exposure effect.
Interesting. Yes. So I know that my brother could eat carrots in the fall and winter, but could never have them in the spring and summer as a result because of the birch that would bloom in our area in Westchester County, New York. So now, what are some of the symptoms that should signal that somebody needs to get to their doctor and be checked out rather than just try to deal with it with an over-the-counter med?
Sure. So, I think the difficulty is that when it happens once in a while, you kind of ignore it. So again, the respiratory symptoms that everyone has experienced sometime in their lives, the periodic coughing, the throat clearing, the chest tightness, shortness of breath, potentially even in a wheeze. These symptoms can be mild to severe. So it's when they are noticeable by yourself or those around you that you should really consider going to a healthcare provider, your child go to a pediatrician for a workup to identify those triggers.
Yeah, I just know I always keep in my because I have anaphylaxis to, of all things, tomatillos. It's like, well, you could get through life fortunately not eating tomatillos, but I always have to be careful at a Mexican restaurant because I blow up and the neck chokes you off, and it's really scary. I used to think people who say they have food allergies, they're overreacting, and literally 2 months later, after I was at a fundraiser for that, 2 months later, it happened to me. And that's when your whole attitude changes about it. When you suddenly can't bring air into your body, that's when God says, "Oh yeah, we got some other plans for you, Mr. Rosato." Um, so the reason I bring this up is, I mean, obviously that was a call to have to go to the doctor to find out more about allergies. That's an extreme sense. But I know people who put off, their nose is always running and they always get sinus infections. And I always say, why don't you go deal with the allergy so that you don't constantly have the rhinitis and you don't constantly get the sinus infection? Am I wrong?
Sure. And so, that trigger really is obviously in the acute, situation that you're mentioning. But if it's happening over and over, there's, your body does a lot of things to try to clear that infection or irritant, but it also underlying all that creates a lot of damage. And the longer that goes on untreated, creates damage that's harder to, number one, treat with medications, and sometimes is more irreversible than if you treated it earlier the first time. So getting a vaccination to prevent flu or pneumonia, maintaining a healthy lifestyle for, plenty of sleep, avoidance of irritants, cigarette smoking, for example, helps prevent these things from overall occurring. Mental health, right? If you have exacerbations of anxiety that cause you to have an increase of your respiratory effort, that sometimes triggers an asthma issue as well.
Yeah, I know somebody who every time they visit their mom, who has three cats, they respond with severe allergies, asthma, eyes get red, coughing, sneezing. And that person is going for allergy shots. And I said, well, in this series of shots, do you have shots for cats? And they said to me, well, you know what? The doctor told me I don't respond to cats. And I said, well, how is that possible? Because I've been in their presence around the cats and they respond. Is it possible that allergy tests can miss certain allergies? Or is it maybe there's something else other than the cat that's triggering it?
Yeah, no, again, I think you hit the nail on the head. So number one, allergy testing is very specific, right? There's two types of testing. There's skin testing, there's blood testing. And we certainly can get, whether you have a reactiveness to cat danders, but just like you pointed out, right, you could have additional things on the cat, dust mites, for example, or the environment where the cat lives, mold or other allergens that are more contained. If there's carpet, that tends to collect other things like, as I said, dust mites, mold that might be triggering things. And it's kind of like a glass that, you might have a mild allergy to, but as you get more things that you're exposed to that have allergies to, the glass overflows. And when you have the overflowed glass, you then have those symptoms related, to that condition.
That makes an awful lot of sense. In fact, I know that the person I'm talking about in their neighborhood is just overwhelmingly flowers everywhere. And who knows, the overloading of pollen and then confrontation of the cats, it's like the tipping point. And that makes an awful lot of sense. That's just a personal question. I figured, you know what, every time I go for a family gathering, this happens. Now I can say, hey, I spoke to Dr. Carnevale about it and what he said. So now if somebody's diagnosed with asthma, what's the most effective treatment option for them today?
Sure. So, again, it starts with identifying any triggers, right? So if it's related to allergies, to avoidance of the trigger. So, and then to develop kind of a treatment plan based on the severity. So it might be as simple as taking avoidance of the trigger. But if it's a little bit more than that, it might be taking a daily medication or one that's only when symptoms are present. There's a variety of medications now. There's oral medications you take by mouth. There's inhalers that one takes. There's injections oftentimes that can be done for those with severe symptoms. But again, it's a plan in place. It requires not only the identification of the triggers, the medications to have on hand, an emergency plan for when those medications don't work, and working in consultation with a healthcare provider throughout.
Doctor, what is a website for more information?
Sure. So I always recommend Academy websites. We call it the Quad AI. There's also American Academy of Allergy Immunology. Our health plan site, www.uhc.com, has also oftentimes helpful information as well. But again, you can always call your healthcare provider for further evaluation based on your symptoms.
Fantastic. Dr. Greg Carnevale, Chief Medical Officer, United Healthcare. Thank you for coming on this morning. We appreciate you for all you do. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you. Have a nice day, everyone.
You too, sir. 58 minutes past the hour. Those of you in California, please stay tuned for your local news and information on LACA. If you're watching on the East Coast, stay tuned for On New Jersey Mornings. Thanks for watching. We're back at 2. Very good morning. It's 8 a.m. Tuesday, April 28th, 2026. Welcome to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato with open phone lines, 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Here's meteorologist Mike Favetta's full Garden State forecast. right. So what this means, you just saw the automated forecast because we have our Mike Favetta is on paternity leave. So what we know is in the state of New Jersey and the New York tri-state area, we're going to have mostly cloudy skies today. Not a bad day. Mostly cloudy. Could have a couple of peaks of sun. Highs mid to upper 60s. I'll take it. Very nice mid spring forecast. It's not bad at all. In terms of the folks, as you go further up the Hudson Valley, it's going to be a little cooler, and also down the shore. It'll be about 5 to 7 degrees cooler just because the ocean temperatures lag behind by about 2 months. Right now, we have a temp of 49 degrees in Trenton. It's 51 degrees northern New Jersey, 50 degrees right now in Vineland, 47 degrees down the shore in Cape May. And we check our traffic in the area. We have problems right now with a tractor trailer fire on Corbin Street. It's impacting both directions. And that is from Kellogg Street to Marsh Street in Newark. Right lane is blocked southbound. Left lane is blocked northbound. On Route 46, there's a fluid spill westbound by West Main Street, Rockaway Township, with all lanes closed. Route 21, vehicle disabled now northbound at East 3rd Ave in Newark with a center lane of 3 lanes closed. You can see it stuck right there with a police officer on the scene. Look at Eagle Eye Pam and even zooming in for us. We appreciate that. Hopefully they'll get their vehicle going soon. We have a problem now with a crash on the New Jersey Turnpike Outer Roadway, southbound entering at the Molly Pitcher service area, Cranberry Township. Right lane is closed or blocked at least through there. And your Hudson River crossings right now, the 139 approach from the Turnpike to the Holland Tunnel, very heavy. In fact, it wasn't even moving a little while ago. Take a look at the 495 approach right now to the Lincoln Tunnel to the Helix, and it's moving, but a little on the heavy side. You can see those middle lanes making your way into the Helix. So right there is a little over a mile from the mouth of the Lincoln Tunnel. That's going to cost you about 30 minutes in, 35 minutes at the Holland. And the GWB upper and lower levels, heavy, but starting to move at least one level, as you can see on the right side. That's the upper level. Lower level is jammed on the left. That's going to cost you a solid 45 minutes. 5 minutes past the hour now, and President and Mrs. Trump both called for ABC to fire Jimmy Kimmel yesterday after a bad taste joke.
Our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania.
You want to hear?
Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
Now, is that a joke? You know, I'm not very touchy about stuff, but you're talking about two things you're never supposed to joke about: death, in this case, murder, not just death or attempted murder, and specifically the attempted murder of one of our leaders that 50.1% of the population voted for, whether you like it or not. Now, I'm not pro-Trump, anti-Trump. I'm just saying I don't want the death of any politician on the left or the right. I don't want any harm to come. I don't want anyone to get punched. I don't want anyone to get hurt. I'm against anyone getting injured. If you're in politics, you're in politics. You shouldn't wish death or joke about death or injury to any of them. And I don't care if we're talking about President Biden, we're talking about Vice President Kamala Harris, or we're talking about President Trump. You could despise the person, you could protest the person, okay? But you don't wish for their death. And in this case, for the third time, he was almost shot. Now, you could say, but Ken, that joke came out 2 days before the attempted assassination. Does that make it any better? 2 days before, he was already the would-be victim twice. He was shot in the ear once and almost shot a second time outside Mar-a-Lago. So he was already the potential victim there twice. So you don't kid about his wife with the child in the picture, Barron and the wife sitting side by side. Granted, that was just a cutaway video shot. They weren't actually before him. But you don't joke about that, about somebody's family there and potential death of a person. It used to be also that family members of a president were off limits. When did that change? Pretty horrible. You know, if you want to make fun of the older kids, you know, with Eric and Donald Jr., okay, they're 40 something years old. You can make fun of them if you want. But Barron is 18, 19 years old. He's a kid. What are you doing? What are you doing? Jimmy Kimmel is a spoiled brat. Having met him many times, I used to work for ABC, and I'm just telling you, he is an arrogant, stuck-up, spoiled brat. And he is pressing all the buttons because he has a new CEO at ABC News right now. He's trying to see how far he could push. He knew where he stood with Bob Iger. But listen, Mr. Kimmel, you better be ready to get you and your wife out of that show. Save your money, because I don't think this new CEO is going to respond exactly the same way. We'll see. I could be wrong. But my guess is this guy's going to have to make it clear where he stands, and he is the boss. Jimmy Kimmel does not pull the ratings or the advertising revenue to justify doing what he just did. So we'll see where it stands. Let's see if ABC is the hypocrite that we all know that they have been all this time. We're giving certain rules to certain people and letting other people get away with garbage like this, or if they actually are the Disney corporation they portend to be. We'll see where it goes. It is 8 minutes past the hour. He was selling heroin and cocaine out of his home, so say Hoboken police. Officers arrested 34-year-old Tashmir Roan after the neighbors at his Hoboken Housing Authority residence complained of folks coming and going at all hours, ostensibly to buy drugs. Investigators say that Roan was involved in a number of drug deals, so at 5 a.m. last Friday morning, Hoboken police and Hudson County SWAT members arrested Roan. They say they found heroin and coke in his home. Roan was taken to the Hudson County Correctional Facility pending a detention hearing. Some folks in New Jersey saw a streak of light sailing across the sky. Turns out it may have been an Atlas V rocket launched from Florida about 9 p.m. The rocket is carrying Amazon broadband satellites into low Earth orbit. This was one of Atlas V's last missions, as the aging rocket model will soon be retired. A Virginia man convicted of fatally shooting a New Jersey pastor outside her home in 2023 was sentenced to life in prison yesterday. 31-year-old Rashid Ali Bynum of Portsmouth, Virginia, appeared in court in New Brunswick. He ambushed 30-year-old councilwoman and pastor Eunice Dumfour in her car back in February of 2023, just outside of her Sayreville, New Jersey apartment. The woman, again, also a pastor in her local church, that's where she may have met this man. The two had lived together for a short time, but the relationship soured. Police say that Bynum shot the woman 14 times. His lawyer says they will appeal the conviction. There was a massive fire in Long Branch on Sunday night that totally gutted an entire apartment complex. Investigators say the blaze began just past 9 p.m. at Arbor Terrace off Greens Avenue. The fire tore through the roof of the structure as firefighters fought to control it. At least 30 residents needed help from the American Red Cross as they were left with no place to live. Fortunately, nobody was reported injured, and the fire is under investigation. Two contractors severely injured after being electrocuted on the Jersey Shore yesterday. The workers were flown to a Philadelphia burn center after officials in Ocean City said they were badly hurt on the job. It happened just before 9 a.m. on Somerset Lane. The two were hurt after an aluminum ladder touched power lines at the job site. It seems that one worker moved the ladder against the lines and was shocked, prompting the second worker to try to help the first guy. You never touch somebody you suspect of being electrocuted, because in this case, what happened happened. That second worker also got electrocuted as he touched his work partner. The two were helicoptered to the Level 1 Trauma Center at Thomas Jefferson University Hospital in Philly. Their conditions not yet released. If you happen to get a text saying that you need to appear in court for a traffic violation, ignore it. It is a scam. I hear of so many people getting this. It's a text being sent telling them to click on a dangerous link. It doesn't say click on a dangerous link. It says click here. So thugs can then steal your personal information. Officials say just delete and block the message. Do not click on the link. There are the three dots on the upper right, and one of the options is delete and block. That's what you do. Apparently, the scam is being sent to folks not only via text, but they're also using emails and phone calls. If you think you're being scammed this way, do not click on the link. You could call police, let them know about it, but do not click on the link. 11 minutes past 8. If you're a working mom, New Jersey is the place for you. Wallet Hub ran yet another study. It seems we have a study a day from Wallet Hub. This time it ranked New Jersey as the fourth best state in the nation for those busy moms. According to the report, in 2025, 74% of women with children younger than 18 were participating in the workforce. The study looked at 17 metrics, including female unemployment rates, salaries, and the quality of daycare. For professional opportunities, New Jersey ranks fifth, while ranking seventh for work-life balance. And the Garden State says congratulations to U.S. Air Force Master Sergeant Charles Ingrone, who received a Bronze Star Medal during an April 17th ceremony at the Atlantic City Air National Guard Base. The Bronze Star Medal is awarded to service members who distinguish themselves by heroic achievement or service in a combat zone. Ingrone was deployed as a section chief at Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, where he saw action last year. Ingrone directed one of Central Command's busiest fuels flights, delivering 84 million gallons of fuel and servicing more than 1,700 aircraft. Thank you for your brave service again, and congratulations. And do you like getting local news? You're not alone. A new poll shows 65% of New Jersey residents want more local news coverage. 56% also want more statewide reporting. Demand for better coverage is consistent across political parties and demographics. Just 44% feel that local news only informs them somewhat well. It's 8:13. When we come back, New Jersey is home to a lot of things, but I bet you may not know it is home to a really cool media brand. We're going to tell you about it. Mostly cloudy today, highs in the mid-60s, the full Garden State forecast. When we come back, you're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We're back in 2. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings for your Tuesday. It is 8:15. Here's meteorologist Mike Favetta's full Garden State forecast. So to briefly translate what all that means, the automated forecast, Mike is telling us it's going to be mostly cloudy today, temps in the mid to upper 60s, a little cooler down by the shore, but not bad overall for a spring day. And that's what you have. Right now, we have a temperature of 49 degrees in Trenton. It's 51 in northern New Jersey, 46 degrees down at Cape May, and 49 degrees in Vineland right now. And our check of Garden State traffic is not a good one. We have a bunch of issues. Let's start, if we may. Let's go on I-80, a disabled tractor trailer, I-80 westbound east of exit 54, Minisink Road in Totowa. You can see just a little buildup here right now, and that is due to the disabled tractor trailer being, it's impacting the center lane, it says, but I bet you they got it off to the side by this point because I see some motion there. So let's hope they did. And things won't get too bad. We have a fluid spill on Route 46 westbound by West Main Street, Rockaway Township. All lanes are closed there. Crash on the Jersey Turnpike outer roadway southbound entering at the Molly Pitcher service area, Cranberry. All lanes are currently open to traffic. And over in the Newark area, we have a disabled vehicle, Route 21 northbound by East 3rd Avenue in Newark. Center lane is closed. You can see there is a police car there trying to keep folks away from it. But this is impacting a little section, a couple of blocks by the downtown part of Newark. Fortunately, it's not involving the greater area. That's a good thing. And we have a crash now. Nope, it just got cleared. Let's see. Hang on one sec. We just got an update here. Holland Tunnel. We have delays. South Tunnel eastbound, all lanes now impacted. Travel time to New Jersey from 139 Tunnelly Circle is 25 to 30 minutes. Lincoln Tunnel approach is going to cost you 30 to 35 minutes. And the GWB upper and lower levels, 8095 approach, that is about 40 minutes there in the upper level on the right, 40 minutes as well now. It was 45. It's a little better with some motion on the lower level on the left. What started as a single local publication has grown into a full-scale media brand. Bay Magazine has spent more than a decade evolving. Gary Henderson is the magazine's co-founder, chairman, and publisher. We say good morning, Gary. A lot of hats to wear.
Oh, yes. Good morning. Thank you. Yeah, we're always busy. Never a dull moment with us.
You know, it's just in broadcasting and publishing as well. 25 years ago, you walked into a newsroom and there were 50 people. Today, you and I, we're the bottle washers, you do it all. But that's what's happened because of this electronic era, right? So much has been consolidated. So, but
Yes.
you guys have had success in an era when print publications are disappearing and many magazines are gone. You managed to get Bay Magazine quite a lot of success. Talk about what it was like getting it off the ground.
So it was my daughter and myself originally started the magazine. She came to me Christmas Day with a concept of doing a magazine on Long Beach Island. And I was retired. So what do you tell your baby daughter? You say, absolutely, let's start a magazine. So we started it. It was one issue, it was 84 pages. It was I would say, very rudimentary looking because we had really no experience with the magazine business. But I did have some experience with media. And we just persevered and we evolved it where we went from 1 to 2 issues of Bay Magazine. And then we did a line extension off of that called Open House Magazine, which is our home design magazine. And then we line extended off of that and did a real estate magazine that turned from 2 issues to 6. That gives us now 9 issues of magazines that we're publishing over the course of the year. And then we also do wedding shows under the title of Wedding Bliss Expo. We also own outdoor advertising, billboards. Most of them are located outside of Atlantic City. We do have some in Southern Ocean County as well. And our new project is Did You Know, DYK, which as we've worked with a lot of the small merchants on Long Beach Island, just in the general vicinity, none of them really have a digital media plan or platform, if you will. And so we decided that we've been collecting emails because everybody wants to get subscriptions, and we can then obviously send a digital copy of our magazine anywhere. And so we've been collecting this since 2014. We now have over 40,000 emails that we send out. And we did a collaboration with another merchant down here called Spotted Whale, which is an interior design store as well as just it sells design products for your home. They also had a little over 40,000 emails, and their stores are located from Ocean City up to Red Bank, New Jersey, and they have a total of 6 stores. So that gave us over 80,000 emails that we could push out information to. So we designed, I'm not going to call it a newsletter. I don't even like to call it an email blast. It's kind of like, it's like Bay Magazine, but it's truncated down and very to the point. And what you can do on this is, besides information on restaurants and articles about restaurants and information on decorating and real estate, you can click on to the logo and go directly to the website. So that's the first iteration of this. It'll obviously evolve as all of our products do. So we're pretty excited to see what happens. We did our first issue on May 19th. It was a week before Easter. We have our 6 issues of DYK set up for a week before the major holidays over the next 6 months, so that people can get information and start to plan before they come down to the shore points. And we did it, and we got like 42.7% open rate. I thought that was fairly remarkable. And the response back from, the response back from everybody who was participating, and advertisers, the people that were writing, it was, and just the general readership was overwhelming. I wasn't expecting it. Then again, we weren't expecting Bay Magazine to be successful.
If I could jump in, Gary, I'm sorry to step on you. The thing is, everybody makes a general proclamation. Television broadcasts, news shows, dead. Magazines, dead. Well, you know what? There's always going to be an audience. It's maybe dead for 57 magazines to compete. I get it. You can't have 26 newscasts compete. I get it. Can 1 or 2 survive and thrive? Absolutely. There's going to be an audience, especially if you do it well and you know your market. Clearly, you're a Garden Stater. You know your market. And for people, you nailed it. For people going down the shore, if I have a rental, I want to rent it out. You're now the go-to magazine because everybody else wrapped up and said bye-bye. And it's not an easy thing to produce a slick-looking print magazine. One thing to do it digitally, but what's it like? Those are 2 different animals, right? Doing a printed publication versus a digital. Talk about the difference and how difficult that could be.
Yeah, so putting together like a Bay Magazine or any one of our publications, it's a lot of work, and we don't have a big staff. So we have freelance writers, freelance photographers. I sell all the ads, and my daughter does she lays the whole thing out. So it's our ability to be able to do that in fairly, we're fairly concise way. But it is hard. I'm not going to say it's easy. I mean, it was hard. Everybody be doing it. The digital. What we're doing there is we're providing original content for the DYK, but the advertisers are there. So we have a credibility with hundreds of advertisers in this area. So when we come up to them with a new product, they're very very welcoming to join in and participate. So that's a big advantage. And just to go back to what you said earlier, we're one of I think we're in a segment of magazines which is still surviving. We are that hyper local, it's almost to a degree of resort type magazine that when people are coming to Long Beach Island or anywhere in the Jersey Shore points, they want that local magazine. They want to sit down after they've come off the beach, have a cool drink and get out of the sun for a little bit and just glance through some easy reading, interesting topics type of content. And that's what we're providing them. And I think that's the real reason is the product has been just so, accepted by the general audience. It's been very, very, very easy for us to attain the success we have, which is quite nice.
Gary, I'm with you 100%. I worked for ABC, in New York for over 20 years. I worked for Fox before that for a few years and CBS before, on and on and on. And they're all about being big conglomerates, and they do what they do very well, all of them. I'm not besmirching them, but in this era, everything is becoming like that because of digital. You can just pick up this, and with that, you could find what you want. Our friend Bill Evans, who was our weather guy at Channel 7 for all the years I was there, he and his wife opened up a little radio station on the east end of Long Island, little 3,000 watt FM radio station. That's it. All the other radio stations in that part of Long Island are automated. His is live. live local people 24 hours a day. He shows up at the opening of a restaurant. He shows up at the opening of a little corner store. He's there. His station is sold out solidly. That's what you need to do. You have tapped into it. And so when you have these giant corporations that own 850 radio stations, and I'm not knocking anyone specifically, and they automate 90% of them, what differentiates them from anything else? You know, what there is
That's
no,
just a
there is
machine.
no draw.
It's just a machine.
That's it.
Yeah.
And
There's
there's no
there's no
personality. You
connection
guys
to
are
the community.
personality.
Yeah, no
You
connection
nailed
to
it.
the community.
You've defined it.
That's yeah, that's that at the end of the day, if I had to say one word of it,
Sure.
it's the connection to the community that we have, and that what we do to help make the community look good, feel better, and just give it an overall, nice little shine, so people want to come to our community, which is great.
And there's nothing like the tactile sense of a shiny, glossy, sharp-looking magazine, especially in a water community down the shore. I mean, it's something about it. You're right, because you're in a vacation mode. You want to see the slick magazine, see what restaurant to go to tonight, have a cocktail later, and what to do and what's going on in town. And you've nailed it. Gary Anderson, it's great to know you. Hopefully, we'd love to have a nice long relationship with you here On New Jersey, because we're trying to do the same thing and have been in only a few years. Like you, being hyper local, being New Jersey only, we found some of that niche as well. And you're right, it does work. Gary
It does.
Henderson, Bay Magazine's co-founder, chairman, and publisher. Please come on again. I'd love to talk to you. We could talk about a magazine a day, because what you do is amazing, and you've
Thank
proven
you.
success.
We'd love
with what
to.
you do. All right.
Thank you very
We'd
much.
love to have you on. So we'll set that up. It's great to have you on.
Bye now.
All right. You bet. What a great success story. And he proves that there is still success, but you have to do it the way it used to be done. That's the way the gumshoe, they used to say, going around. He's the salesman. He goes around to every business personally and shakes hands. He deserves every bit of success he gets. God bless him. It is now 49 degrees at 8:28 when we come back. The autism challenges many families are facing. We'll talk about that. It's going to be cloudy and 66 degrees. Back in 2 minutes. Hey, 31. Good morning, Tuesday, April 28th. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, 888-658-0234. The phone lines. Here is meteorologist Mike Favetta's full Garden State forecast. 8:33 right now. Our temperature is 49 degrees in Trenton. It's 51 in northern New Jersey, 46 degrees down the shore in Cape May, and 49 degrees in Vineland. Again, clouds today, mostly cloudy at least, and highs about 66 degrees. A lot going on the roadways. We start out at 195. Pam, this is 195 at where? I'm sorry. Pamela? 295 at 195. Thank you. So 295 at 195, you can see the sign up there. So I just found that that is construction going on. So apparently they're taking you down by one lane, and that's what's causing this massive backup during morning rush. Unfortunately, that they couldn't postpone that construction. We have a crash now reported on 18 northbound by US 1 in East Brunswick. The right lane and right shoulder are closed. Disabled bus now on the New Jersey Turnpike. Local lanes northbound south of exit 71. This is as you make your way up toward the GWB. That's causing huge backups trying to get across the GWB or to the GWB. I-80 right now. We have a disabled tractor trailer westbound east of exit 54 Mini Sink Road in Totowa. 2 right lanes of the 4 lanes closed. Turnpike back there again. We have an outer roadway crash, and that is south of interchange 14 by I-78 1 and 9 in Newark. All lanes open to traffic, but a lot of delays. And we have a crash also on the outer roadway of the Turnpike southbound entering at the Molly Pitcher service area in Cranberry. Route 46, there is a fluid spill reported, and that's in Rockaway Township. All lanes are closed. Route 21, we have a disabled vehicle. Pam has had that camera shot. We could still see it's just causing a little bit of a delay in the area. You see the flashing lights, and that's been going on for over an hour. You'd think they thought they could have gotten that vehicle off the road by now, but I guess tow trucks don't service Newark. I don't know. There's a gas station right there, and this isn't some 50-mile away rural part. This has been over an hour right by a gas station in the civilization that is Newark. You would think somebody could get a tow truck there, but I guess not. Okay, the Hudson River crossings right now. The Holland Tunnel is going to cost you 40 minutes across, the Lincoln 30. GWB upper and lower levels, as I mentioned, already difficult to get there because of the tractor trailer I told you about. And now you have this. This is just a lot of delays from volume, upper level on the right, lower on the left. In all, it'll cost you at least 45 minutes making your way into Manhattan via the GWB. It is 8:36. Autism advocacy often focuses on awareness, but for many families, especially in underserved communities, the real challenges really are going far beyond that. Simone Gordon is the founder of the Black Fairy Godmother Foundation. We say good morning to you, Simone. Good to have you on.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Well, it's nice to have you on. Excuse me as I'm having issues with our equipment. So let me see if I could fix this quickly. There we go. I think I got it. So autism advocacy often focuses on awareness. And the problem is the case of many families, day-to-day life is different. Share with us what the day-to-day reality looks like in raising a child who has severe autism and what people often do not get. They don't understand about that experience.
What many people don't understand is raising a child with severe autism. At times, you have to wake up in the middle of the night. The child may have some medical needs that need to be attended to. For me, for the past 15 years, I wake up at 4 a.m. My son wake up at 4 a.m. That's how his brain is wired. I have to physically get him dressed, prepare his lunch, and prepare him for school. And sometimes children who is on the severe end of the spectrum don't like changes very much. So at times, with the state or the county, they change up the routine of the child, whether it's transportation, whether it's them going to school. And it's a bit overwhelming. After my son leave, not only do I run my foundation to assist families in need, but I also have to get on the phone and advocate for medical, educational, and legal. That's the day to day of many autism moms. After, my career was cut short in 2017, I began to almost, for a short period of time, stayed at home and went to school and, lost a bit of a sleep. So it's a bit of a struggle for many, especially in New Jersey, trying to get the resources that our child needs.
Yeah, and for those that don't realize, in autism, you have, as you mentioned, the brain is wired differently, and it's different with every child, right? Every individual, it could be that they are hypersensitive to their vision or brightness. It could be sound. It could be right. And some people who are autistic, if they hear noises, it can short circuit them. For us, a noise is, well, look, for somebody with severe autism, if they're wired a certain way, noise could make them almost want to pass out. So everybody is different, and you have to be diagnosed early. The earlier you get diagnosis, the better. How early was it for your son?
My son was on a waiting list, so he was diagnosed a little bit late. He was diagnosed at the age of 3.
Okay, that's still years ago. That would have been good, right? Today they diagnose younger and younger. But I know some people whose kids weren't diagnosed until 4 or 5 years ago because they just didn't know enough about it. Today, at least we know a little bit more. But imagine, I mean, for folks saying that it must be difficult getting services. This is in a metropolitan area. It's a challenge getting services. Imagine people who live in rural communities, how hard it is. So talk about the challenges you have, especially with the intersection, if you will, of race as well, and different communities and how they respond to autism.
Since the rates have gone up in the state of New Jersey and in the tri-state area, many parents are forced to go on Medicaid and take a pay cut, work part-time or create a business or just stay at home, period. A lot of doctors who are skilled in autism, as far as physical therapy, neurology, and pediatric developmental medical practices, they just don't take Medicaid. And that's the downfall for many who are in the marginalized and rural areas, is that many of us have Medicaid and our children are on a year or 2 year wait list. Children's Specialized Hospital are opening amazing centers, but they are overwhelmed with the lack of manpower that they have. So it's very challenging, it's very overwhelming. And some of the schools that we have, my son go to a special needs school. At times you have to fight to make sure your child get into these schools because they are overpopulated as well.
Unbelievable. But you have really helped so many families in very real, tangible ways. I mean, when you have your hands full with your own son, and just the idea that you've decided rather than just dealing with what issues you're going on yourself, you're sharing with other people so that as you experience and you walk through the challenges, you're like, you know what? I'm going to tell the other folks, the other parents, how they can deal with it, how I dealt with it. It's very generous of you to do. Not a lot of people would do that. Share a few examples of the impact that your foundation has had.
For example, a lot of autism parents get overwhelmed with, filling out applications for their children, whether it's RESPA, whether it's food, whether it's housing. They don't know that you can go to a local university that has a law clinic, and there are actual law students who are skilled and equipped to fill out those forms for you and advocate for you and your child. I teamed up with Instacart to do a program called the Angel Food Assistance Program. And what Instacart does is they waive the delivery fees because many parents who have children on the spectrum are unable to stand on long lines at food pantries. And most food pantries are not generous and, they don't let you skip the line. So we said, how about we will deliver the food and the medical supplies right to your door? So that's one of the programs that we have that help many parents who have children on the spectrum or children who have disabilities. We will deliver the medical supplies and the food to their homes.
Amazing. Simone, give everybody the website for more information. We want to learn more.
For more information, go to www.theblackfairygodmother.org.
All right. Simone Gordon, founder of the Black Fairy Godmother Foundation. Thanks for coming on this morning.
Thank you so much for having me this morning.
You bet. So we're coming back in 2 minutes. Don't go away. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings for your Tuesday, 8:45, and meteorologist Mike Favetta's full Garden State forecast is up. All right. So the forecast, if you couldn't make out the automated forecast, their meteorologist Mike Favetta is off on paternity leave right now. He tells us it's going to be cloudy, mostly cloudy, 66 degrees today throughout New Jersey, and down the shore about 8 degrees cooler. Just so you know, we do have a lot of accidents on the roadways to tell you about. Let's go over to I-80 right now. We have a disabled tractor trailer on I-80 westbound, east of exit 54, Minisink Road in Totowa. 2 right lanes closed, so it is right behind those trucks. See the trucks that are kind of off there on the side, kind of jammed right by the trees. So right behind there is where you got the disabled tractor trailer. Again, I-80 westbound, east of exit 54, Minisink Road, Totowa. 2 right lanes and 4 lanes closed. We have a crash on Route 17 northbound, south of Century Road in Paramus. Right lane and right shoulder are closed there. And on Route 18, we have a crash northbound, north of US 1 East Brunswick, with the right lane and the right shoulder closed there. We have a disabled bus on the Turnpike I-95 local lanes northbound, just south of exit 71, Broad Avenue, Teaneck Township. The center lane is blocked on that. That's near the GWB, by the way. Crash on the Turnpike Outer Roadway northbound, south of interchange 14, 1 and 9 in Newark. All lanes open to traffic, just heavy. Another issue on the Turnpike Outer Roadway southbound, entering at the Molly Pitcher service area. There's a crash in Cranberry. All lanes open to traffic. Fluid spill, Route 46 westbound near Route 513 West Main Street in Rockaway. All lanes are closed. And on Route 21, disabled vehicle northbound at East 3rd Avenue, Newark. Center lane is closed. That's just cleaned up. We understand. That's what Pam was looking at. The GWB, right? Well, first I'll tell you, the Lincoln and Holland, they can cost you 30 minutes into Manhattan. GWB upper and lower levels, 8095 approach. Check out the massive traffic there. The upper levels on the right, that's 45 minutes in, 40 minutes on the lower level on the left. 8:48 is our time, and our friends from AARP are here with a special message. All right, so we started talking about it a second ago, and property taxes certainly remain one of the biggest financial burdens for a lot of people who live in New Jersey, especially if you're older and you have to stay in your homes and you're on a fixed income. Programs like Stay NJ, along with Anchor and the Senior Freeze, are designed to ease that pressure. But understanding how they work and who benefits can be very confusing. AARP has been advocating for stronger, more accessible relief and for policies that truly meet the needs of residents. And joining us now to break it all down, Katie Squires, Associate State Director of Advocacy at AARP, and Robert Rashkes, who is an AARP advocacy volunteer who has experienced this issue firsthand. Thank you both for being here this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ken.
You bet. Katie, what property tax relief programs are currently available in New Jersey, and how do they work together for residents?
Well, you listed them, Ken. There's the Senior Freeze, there's Stay New Jersey, and there's Anchor. And what a great recent change that happened was making it a consolidated application so that people just have to fill out one application. It's the blue book that folks get in the mail, and the rest of the information is figured out for them.
Yeah, and talk about the impact that programs like Stay NJ have and what kind of relief homeowners can realistically expect. Because for a lot of folks on fixed income, even if it's a few $1,000s, it could make or break whether they can stay in New Jersey in retirement.
Absolutely. And we are hearing that in the surveys we've run. We're hearing that from people as young as pre-retirement, 50 to 64, that they're making decisions whether they're going to be able to stay in the state or not based on property taxes. About 50% of the people we surveyed said they seriously consider leaving New Jersey. And of those people, 80% said property taxes were a driving factor. So the thousands of dollars do add up. If you're on a fixed income, $1,000 coming your way makes a huge difference, especially with property tax bills averaging north of $10,000. And as Robert will talk about, in other communities, it's well above that 10,000 figure.
And you're looking at states like Florida right now that have no state income tax, and they're talking about abolishing their property tax. So if you're on a fixed income, how does New Jersey compete against something like that? And Robert, on a personal level, what does property tax relief mean to you and your ability to stay in your home right here in the beautiful Garden State?
Well, it's very important because last year we had a property tax revaluation in West Orange, and the new average property tax bill is $16,000 per person. My taxes went up $3,000, and we had to pay the $3,000 increase in the last 2 quarters of the year. So all of a sudden, I have it's like sticker shock, and luckily at that point, I start getting checks from my from the blue booklet I filed last year, and that made the difference from depleting my checking account.
Oh, I mean, it's not like you're on a fixed income at this point. You're retired, you budget, and it's like they think that you're supposed to just get this money from the sky. You recently wrote an op-ed about Stay NJ, Robert. What message
Yes.
were you hoping you could send to lawmakers and the public about this?
Well, the importance of keeping the promise. We're counting on the money that we wanted. We're looking to make sure that it's a promise, and we're relying on it because people are worried. People are scared. We at the township council meeting the other night, we heard a report of a senior in West Orange whose taxes went up $6,000 with the revaluation, and that person is working 3 jobs and is hanging on by a thread just to stay in West Orange. So it's very concerning. Everybody's asking, where's the blue books? And the West Orange Senior Services Department, they hold seminars bringing in the state treasury people, and it's very well attended. Everybody shows up because they need that property tax relief to stay here.
And all you want to do is enjoy your retirement. You shouldn't have to be stressing like this. Katie, talk about some of the biggest challenges that residents are facing when they try to access these programs.
Well, I think there's still a lack of awareness. We have been having some regular telephone town halls with the Treasury, and when we survey the callers, many of them still haven't heard of at least one of the 3 programs. So one of the benefits of all the programs being on one application is it's a natural way for people to hear about it. But we need to make sure that these programs continue. So every year, it's something that we at AARP are fighting for to make sure that relief is there for them.
And thank God for AARP for that. I full disclosure, I've been a member of AARP for 13 years. I love it and all that it offers. Just saying it, putting it out there. It's one of the best bargains out there for joining a group that really helps a lot. And Katie, as lawmakers work through the state budget, what should they be prioritizing when it comes to property tax relief?
We want to make sure that the promise for Stay New Jersey is maintained. We want to make sure that relief, especially the full $6,500 benefit, is there, and that the program is maintained. People are counting on this money. The state budget timeline is very different than our household timeline. We typically don't budget middle of the year to middle of the year. We typically budget January to December. And so as folks are making their budgets for the year and they're trying to plan things out, and they see these checks come in from Stay New Jersey and see what they're able to do, what they're able to stop putting off, for instance, what they're able to, medicines that they're able to purchase, food, higher groceries that they have to pay for, utilities, you name it. This is such a huge relief for folks. And so they want to be able to be sure that they can count on it.
All right. And Robert, from your perspective, and you kind of touched on it a little bit already, what are residents most concerned about right now when it comes to rising property taxes?
How are we going to pay for it? and can we stay in our homes and our communities that we love? And West Orange is an age-friendly community, and I want to be able to stay here and age in New Jersey. And it's difficult, and everybody has to figure out how we're going to do it. And these programs are vital.
Amen to that. I mean, here you've helped build New Jersey. You made New Jersey the great place it is for the next generation. And then basically it's like, okay, now you could leave. No, you want to enjoy your retirement. Robert, do you know of a website where people can learn more about eligibility and apply for the programs?
Well, I look forward to getting my form in the mail every year. And it says for more information, call 1-888-238-1233 to get your application for the property tax relief program.
There you go. And then Katie, is there also a website, Katie?
Yes, we have aarp.org/NJ resources that folks can head over there and find out more information about property tax relief and other help that's available across the state.
And I'm glad Robert also gave the 800 number, because a lot of especially older people, my mother would look at me and say, huh, WW what? So the 800 number is very important also as an option. So I appreciate you both very much. Katie Squires, Associate State Director of Advocacy at AARP, and AARP Advocacy Volunteer Robert Rashkis. Thank you both for coming on this morning. Let's hope that this is dealt with so that our seniors can enjoy their retirement here in the beautiful Garden State. We appreciate you both.
Yeah, thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Ken.
You bet. Fantastic. All right, coming up on 8:57 right now, and that is on New Jersey Mornings. For this Tuesday, April 28th, I'm Ken Rosato. Don't forget, once again, meteorologist Mike Favetta's Garden State forecast. Mostly cloudy today, could have a few peaks of sun, highs mid to upper 60s. The temps will continue to go up in the next week or two, so enjoy the weather as it gets nicer and nicer. Hopefully we get a little rain. We need it because we're still in a slight rain deficit. But again, temps in the mid to upper 60s, a little cooler at the shore. Remember, we're streamed daily at ONNJ.com, ONLACA.com, and for folks in Florida now, ONFLA.com. We're on Roku, Fire TV News on Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, Facebook, and X. And now we stream live on Local Now, Substack, Rumble, and Twitch. Just go to twitch.tv/OnNewJersey. If you like what you saw, tell all your friends about us, and we'll catch you back here tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. We'll be live throughout America, starting mornings with Ken Rosato. Till then, have a great day.